Hi, Poppy Yeager here with This Day in History, February 13th, 1905. Teddy Roosevelt addressed America's race problem in a speech to the Republican Club in New York City. America has always struggled with race. Tensions between races has been bad throughout our history. 1905, Teddy Roosevelt was just reelected, but tensions were still running high between North and South. Yesterday, I discussed the fact that there was an increase in lynchings. The immigrants who had come from Asia to build the railroads were discriminated against. And then, of course, you still had Native Americans that were out west, and the white people still were trying to take their land. So race relations were terrible. And Teddy Roosevelt addressed this simply by saying, we're not going to do anything radical. We're not going to do anything to really bring about a change. Social and economic equality will come with time. We just got to be patient. He really did nothing. But you got to understand, Teddy Roosevelt was a racist himself. As much good as he did for this country when it came to breaking up monopolies and setting aside national parks, he had that dark side too, and that's got to be taken into consideration. Yeah, he's the one that founded the national park system, and I love going to the national parks, but we also need to recognize that in setting land aside for those national parks, there were Native Americans that were removed again from their territory. So, of course, Teddy Roosevelt was not going to address this head on because he himself believed in a hierarchy of races and he believed white people were on top. That said, he did occasionally appoint African Americans to positions. He had this idea that, all right, well, maybe group of races, we have this hierarchy, but once in a while there can be an individual that rises above. It wasn't until LBJ, Lyndon B. Johnson, was president in the 1960s and he passed the Civil Rights Act that we actually had a president who wanted to combat the race problem, who wanted to build a society of equality. So it's really sad that Roosevelt addressed the race issue, but really wasn't going to do anything to try to improve things. We had to wait for LBJ, and now here we are, more than 100 years after Teddy Roosevelt, and once again, race is a problem. And once again, it's a Republican in office who is pretty much saying, well, we're getting rid of DEI because we only want white men, straight white men running things. It's really sad how backwards this country is going. Anyway, that's This Day in History. February 13th, 1905, Teddy Roosevelt addressed the Republican. He gave a speech to the Republican Club addressing the race issue.